Yes, we're going to do this all over again. Really? We're going to go through a whole nother financial crisis because our government can't acknowledge the root cause, which is the fact that there is an extraction in trade, taxes, and banking in this country that has been going on for a long time, and covering it up by printing money is only a recipe to make it worse. Well, government showing no sign of dealing with any of it, and so the markets continue that panic, and the panic transfers down to Washington, where they act all confused as to why it is ignoring all these problems all these years could possibly make people freak out in the financial markets. Critics say the president failed to do enough following the S&P downgrade. That is petty and minor by any order of magnitude. Even the president's biggest supporters on any level with this are fed up. As we know, the Dow plummeted after he spoke Monday. So today the White House canceled the president's morning speech, as well as the White House press briefing, which makes me wonder whether there's any way out of this that doesn't acknowledge the root problems that are at the root of trade, taxes, and banking that are removing trillions from our nation. If this president won't acknowledge it, will anybody? Let us bring in our mega panel, MSNBC political analyst Karen Finney, Republican strategist Susan Del Percio, and Washington insider Jimmy Williams. I might add that as of 3:52 this afternoon, Karen and Jimmy were stuck on a train outside of Penn Station. They were in a tornado, but because of their obligation and their sense of responsibility, not only to me and to Susan, but to all of you, our viewers.
You were so full of it.
I know, that's why you made it. You made it. Anyway, it's nice to have you guys here. So, Susan, with the political structure being what it is, I lose my job if I intervene in a way that takes away some special interest's ability to fund me because they're into something or whatever it is. Is there any way that any president or any congressman could intervene with the problem that we have right now, whether it's the need to actually tackle the banking system that was ignored in 2008, the need to tackle the tax code that's been ignored for God knows how long they've been ignoring it, the need to tackle the trade negotiations that were brilliantly presented and have lots of beautiful theory in them when they came out in the 90s, but have proven not to create investment or prosperity, but have proven to be the primary driver of our trade deficit. Look no further than China. In this political system, can a leader address these issues, considering how dependent they are for funding for political campaigns from the banks, from the international trade organizations, and from those who benefit from those tax loopholes that he or she would have to close?
Well, right now, you can't. It's not going to come from Congress. It's not going to come from an individual Congress member of House of Representatives or a U.S. Senator. Nor does anyone really expect it to. Who does it fall on? It falls on the executive. It falls on the president. And the president, since day one, since refusing to even say where he stood on the public option when he came into elective office, has not led this country. I've given this president credit and breaks here and there, certainly, and I give him credit for what he did with Osama bin Laden. But he has been a complete and utter failure and disappointment to this country. And you know what? You hold and I go to the president because that's who you hold accountable. Okay. Just like if you were in a city, you hold the mayor, or a state, you hold the governor.
Wait a second. It is Congress that holds the power of the purse. And I'm going to get back to Dylan's question. This president was willing to put on the table a big deal. And who couldn't get the votes? John Boehner.
A big deal
Congress.
for what? What are you talking about? $4 trillion.
$4 trillion. I'm saying
we owe $70 trillion.
I understand that, but you can't
to walk out a $4 trillion solution, which is basically just a way for the Democrats to avoid dealing with this until 2017. I'm not here to talk about plans to deal with this till 2017. I'm saying we've got a real problem, and I'm tired of Republicans and Democrats who either want Republicans who want to burn the place to the ground, and Democrats, with all due respect, who want to offer a plan that gets it through their end of their second term of their presidency, and then screws me and my kids when it's over. And until we do that, we have to deal with the extraction that is at foot. It is the reason the financial markets are behaving the way they're behaving. That is a mathematical fact. This is not some opinion. This is a mathematical fact. tens of trillions of dollars are being extracted from the United States of America. Democrats aren't doing it. Republicans are not doing it. An entire integrated system, financial system, trading system, taxing system that was created by both parties over a period of 2 decades is at work on our entire country right now. And we're sitting here arguing about whether we should do the $4 trillion plan that kicks the can down the road for the president for 2017 or burn the place to the ground, both of which are reckless, irresponsible, and stupid. And the fact of the matter is, until we actually, and I'm sorry to lose my temper, but I tell you what, I've been coming on TV for 3 years doing this. And the fact of the matter is that there's a refusal on both the Democratic and the Republican side of the aisle to acknowledge the mathematical problem, which is that the United States of America is being extracted. It's being extracted through banking, it's being extracted through trade, and it's being extracted through taxation. And there's not a single politician that has stepped forward, Susan, to deal with this.
But there's only one right now. The leader of the free world, whether you like it or not, the president of the United States is arguably one of the most powerful individuals we have out there.
But
and
Susan,
he's
what
our
you're
president.
saying is exactly the point that Dylan is making. It's not about one guy. It's about all of them.
No, I actually disagree. I think Dylan's saying it is about one guy.
It is about one guy.
What would you like him to do?
I would like him to go to the people of the United States of America and say, people of the United States of America, your Congress is bought. Your Congress is incapable of making legislation on health care, banking, trade, or taxes, because if they do it, they will lose their political funding, and they won't do it. But I'm the president of the United States, and I won't have a country that is run by a bought Congress. So I'm not going to work with a bought Congress and try to be Mr. Big Guy. I'm working with the bought Congress. I'm going to abandon the bought Congress like Teddy Roosevelt did, and I'm going to go to the people of the United States, and I'm going to say, you've got a bought Congress. And until we get rid of the bought Congress, which is Jimmy Williams' constant point, which is get the money out of politics, and until a president says that's the problem and says he's going to fix it, there is no policy that I can possibly see, no matter how brilliant your idea may be, or your idea, or my idea, or her idea, or your idea at home, is that idea will not happen as long as there's the capacity to basically fire a politician who disagrees with me by taking funding away from him. Is that a fair assessment?
Money in politics is the root of all political evil. It is corruption at its worst. And until we step up and kick that out of the park, it's going to be the same system all
and only the president could do that. We're going to
No. Congress has to do it too. The Congress has to do it too.
But I'll tell you what. How bad does it have to get? How much money has to be extracted? How many things have to be heard?
Down to brass tacks. Okay, physically, what do? You go
and give a speech
right now.
Right now.
Right now.
You say.
And then what happens tomorrow?
Tomorrow, what happens is you begin the process of actually investing in solving the problem. So I come out and I say, how? I create an infrastructure bank with 2% blending immediately. Once I explain to people the problem, once I explain to you have cancer, once you understand how screwed up your trade, tax, and banking policies are, believe me, you will have no issue when I incorporate an infrastructure bank that I fund with repatriated offshore money that I bring in and then use to create 2% direct lending to every business in America. Because when you realize that the banking system is fully corrupt and defrauding us, and I come out and say that, which is what I want my president to do, that at that exact moment I say, you know what, we got a screwed up situation here, people. You all know it, and now what? I'm going to admit it. And as a result, not only have I admitted it, but we're going to begin the process of solving it like grown-ups. They did it in World War II. They did it after the Civil War. They did it in Latin America with the Brady bonds. We are not seeing it happen now. The panel stays a little more emotional than I anticipated getting at work this afternoon, but what am I going to do? The middle class attempting to fight back in Wisconsin. What today's big recall election in Wisconsin tells us about the mood in America. Ed Schultz joins us, and then Wisconsin, the jumping off point for our latest blog on DylanRatigan.com, as Wisconsin is a state where 2/3 of corporations pay zilch in taxes, while teachers and cops pick up the slack. That doesn't sound like fun. Check that out on DR.com after the show. Remember, you can always weigh in on Twitter or at Dylan Ratigan on Facebook.